Good morning, Judges Jules, episode 8, and I'm pleased to say I've been joined by Simon Holden again. Hello, Si, how are you, mate?
Hello, mate. Yeah, all good. Hello, everybody. Looking forward to looking back at a hectic weekend's racing.
God, you sport for choice. Normally, most weeks you can, it's a bit of a struggle to find 3 to 5, maybe, but you can have 3 to 5 in one day over the week and everything, can't you? Really? I mean, we've got to have a quick chat about the stewards. What a race! What we did cover it obviously on Friday, but I mean everything nearly was spot on. Tab deed 33, 25s or whatever. Very unlucky loser, wasn't it? Really. And a nice little shout on 150 to 1 shot, may I add?
Yeah, I told you that had been missed. I mean, 150s is crazy for a horse that had run in a group race and ran okay in it.
Absolutely, just shows you. Yeah, especially with these foreign horses, they just look at them and think they can't win. They just shows you, doesn't it? Really.
Insane, yeah.
So it's great racing. It's maybe the only thing I'd like to talk about is that I always think it's a great shame that Galway and Goodwood are on at the same week, because then you have like this week. And it's like, well, you got the Shergar cut up at the end, haven't you? I think that's about it for the week, isn't it, really? Shame you don't have one each week. It'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I'm glad Galway's over, to be honest, but that's another story. But two festivals. We've got so many weeks where there's no festivals on. I know it's a busy time of the year, but surely they could get together and switch one.
Yeah, and have like one next week. All this week is we're saying now, I mean, it's not going to make a massive difference to the Shergar Cup, is it, really? But I don't know.
This is horse racing.
Yeah, that's no comment, really. So I just want to say we had 4 runners run over the week from Judges Jules from previous weeks. I did tip up a double in the week, Chateau and V-Side. I actually still think they're both horses to follow. I thought Chateau wasn't given the greatest of rides, and possibly looks like it might even want 7 now, but he did hit the frame for us. And I think I would have put this horse up as a judge's jewel for this week. So it's got the double bubble. I thought V-Site run an absolute cracker on during the week. It was the only horse in double-figured stalls. The horses drawn 6, 3, 2, 4 and 5 came in the first 6. And he was drawn 13. And then for him to come 4th, hated the track as well. I really think that was an excellent run. So I'm not putting too many excuses, but the other 2 horses, Mr. Tyrrell hit the frame for us on Saturday from a poor draw. Well, I don't like going up the rail. You say on the all-weather at Lingfield. Came 4th at 16 to 1. Centred at Brighton this week, and if it runs at Brighton this week, I'll definitely be back in it. And the other horse was Protagonist. That came out and that won at, only just got up, but it won at Newmarket 6 to 5. So I think 4 selections all hitting the frame. Not bad effort this week. So, we got to keep high level to achieve, mate, I think. So which race would you like to go through first? Shall we cover the Stewards Cup? Because I think we both got one from that.
Yeah, as we've been talking about. I like the Ed Walker horse here, ridden by Safi Osborne, to take from the race. Look, you could take half a dozen from this. It was a strongly run, high quality sprint. But Great Ambassador was, I don't think Safi Osborne did anything wrong, but came from a long way back on that far side. I thought ran a genuinely eye-catching race, and I think this form is obviously going to work out. It's got, wherever you look, there's strong performances, horses that hit their marks.
Yes.
There's going to be endless big Saturday sprints before the end of the year. We've got ones at York, we've got ones at Donny. And I can see this Great Ambassador winning one of them, no problem at all.
So it's definitely a group horse, isn't it? I think.
I think so. And he's just gone like capital letters into my tracker. Really, really keen to see what Ed Walker does with this. And I think there's a big handicap in this. It's got to go in that tracker. Big sell.
Brilliant. I would say them drawn all high, weren't they? 19, 28, 27, 26, 18. Great Ambassador led them out. This is why I love watching sprints, and people think I'm bonkers, but it is massive, the draw. If you're on the wrong side, you're on the wrong side. Very rarely do you see two of them finish alongside. And he did win from his side. I do think I think Mackinac was an interesting runner for the Portland, maybe. So
Yeah, similar.
To go off and hard for him to sort of lead the low numbers for as long as he did. He could be one for the Portland, but he's not one that I'm actually going to put up. I'm going to put up. This is my left field one for the week. I think Summergand is the horse to take from this, and a nice exposed 8-year-old. I've watched this race back about 6-7 times, and I can't help. He wouldn't have won it, but he would definitely been alongside Great Ambassador, because they both went for a gap and he didn't get it. Then he didn't get another gap. I've gone each way 8 places. He's got beaten a short head for 9th. I mean, it's possibly one of the unluckiest losers you'll ever have in that aspect of the place part of the bet. But I've looked back at it. Every time it's run in the Stewards Cup, it's come 4th in 2019, and then ran in the Great St Wilfrid and came 2nd off the top weight that year. Then the year after, it won the Stewards Cup, and it got beaten a photograph in the Hopeful Stakes, a listed race, Newmarket, or is it Group? Yes, a listed race, I believe. And then last year it came 12th in this race, and it won the listed Hopeful Stakes. So it actually runs in the Stewards Cup and actually runs as well, if not better, in its next start. And I'll keep an eye out for him at Newmarket if he runs in that Hopeful Stakes. Ideally, you want a bigger field, because we know the setup of this horse. But I would like to see it in the Great St Wilfrid if it ran in that, because it was only that wonderful Dodds horse that beat him in that. The old one that likes the soft ground. It's running today, actually, at Ayr. Running somewhere today. I can't remember the name of it now. The one that won at York all that time. Yeah. So that's my one from the race, Summergand. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he's running out of time is my only thoughts with this horse.
Yes.
But yeah, you're right. Is he going to have a little purple patch to end the year, maybe?
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely a next time out is what I'd say. You know, next time out is the one to be with him, because it looks. Go on.
When is the Great St Wilfrid? Is it a week on Saturday?
Here we go. I think it's. I'm just going to try. It's Dakota Gold. That's the one. Also, I'm thinking of.
Dakota Gold.
Here we go. It was in 2019. I'll just quickly find it. Boom. I should know really, but it came 4th. 17th of August. I'm sure it's a Great St Wilfrid, so it's coming up. Yeah. Yes. So I think it's possibly the week after next. So it's, and if it doesn't run in that, it's the listed race is a week or 2 after that, I believe. So you need to keep an eye out for it.
Yeah.
So we've covered the Stewards Cup in fair amount of coverage there. So I'm just going to get rid of that. So my second one, which I've got, and then I'll let you, because you've got a right left field one as well later on, haven't you? Yeah. So get rid of that. My second one was quite an obvious one. I think you probably would have seen this, but I thought Glenn, who ran in the 2:10 on Saturday. Oh,
yeah.
Oh my word! I mean, I've watched that back, and that run an absolute cracker. But for me, I've already got John Leaper for the Ebor, and I think that ran a good trial as well again on Saturday. It's a bit of a thinker, perhaps, maybe, but I want a second string to my bow here. And I think at 25 to 1 for the Ebor. This horse ran in the Ebor last year off a mark of 116 and come 11th. It's rated 102 now. And I remember a horse that ran earlier on this week that ran off a stone lower mark, Orban. So when they get them handicapped, this horse loves York. It's won the John Smith's Cup. It's come 6th in the John Smith Cup, and it's come 5th in an Ebor as well. Off, funny enough, the same mark it's running off. I think 25 to 1 for horses coming on the back of a superb run. I think it's a very big price anti-post. I'd advise people to have a little devil on that. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, he's sort of shortlist for me. I mean, he's a grand old boy like Summergand, and he's now well handicapped. Held up, bumped. I think that was a very strong race. You're right. He's run a great trial for an Ebor.
Yeah. Might be good to beat him, but I think at 25 you could do a lot worse in the frame.
He'll charge down that outside, won't he, at the 2 mark? There may be a progressive young horse that does him, but you know what I mean, at 5 to 1 a place.
Absolutely.
And you never know. Yeah, I think that's a cracking anti-post. I really do. We're going to get that in your back pocket. He's great, isn't he? I love the way Goldie kicks these old boys going.
That's amazing, isn't it? And because you have a look at it's a bad run, but he's never run well at Chester. I've had a look back at that, and he come last at Chester in his previous run terrible. But if you ever look 2 runs before that, it ran against that Without a Fight, and John Leaper was in that race. And that day, John Leaper, obviously they're running off the levels, but the point is, this shows you how the handicappers sort of like taking a look at him. John Leaper's was rated 105, it's now rated 106. Yukon Glen was rated 109, and it's down now to 102. So I know they run off levels, but the fourth in that was Kamari, and Kamari was the one that only just got done by a stable companion at Goodwood last week. So
he's a good.
It's not a bad line of form now, and Without a Fight obviously came out and won on its next start. So I think that's an interesting line, and it's also over course and distance. You can't beat course and distance form leading up to a trial for a race, can you? Really?
No, not at all. No, I think that's a cracking shout, mate. I would not put anyone off getting stuck into that. And you know it's going to run, don't you? So
well, that's got to be its aim, unless it gets injured. I mean, there's other runs before, and it's also in the next 3 weeks. There's not going to be another mile 6 race that's going to pop in and then try and run in that. You wouldn't want to ruin your mark, would you? For the most valuable handicap of the season, it's madness.
No, definitely not.
That's right.
No. Well, we'll stay at Goodwood, and then I've got my other one which ran at Newmarket.
Okay,
so,
perfect.
But both these horses have sort of a point behind them. So the first race at Goodwood, a lot of noise in the week about a Hannon horse called Classic.
Yeah.
Who's gone off a shade of odds on, I think. I've got some problems bringing Goodwood up. But
I think I went quite short in here. Was it 4 to 6 round that sort of top price?
Yeah. The race was won by a Balding horse.
Yeah, the Foxes.
The Foxes, yeah. The Balding horse was third. Now, Classic's done everything wrong. I think he's hated Goodwood. He's got agitated on the way to the start. Now, Goodwood's a funny track. And many people don't know this, but there's actually no stabling at Goodwood. The horses are kept a couple of miles away, or a mile away and a half, and they have to be transported to the track. So it's a very unusual set, but it's a very quirky place. He's got upset before. He's got upset on the way to the start. He's pulled like mad. So everything's gone wrong. He's only just got beat. Now, what will happen, of course, is the noise around this horse will be that he's not as good as we thought. People who've gone in heavy at odds on will leave him. And he's just the sort of horse to go next time on a standard track and, whatever in. Yeah. And everybody's going to go, oh, no, I was on at Goodwood. And I think this horse is still a very, very exciting prospect. I think the winner's good. So I'm not going to desert Classic. I'm going to stick with him. I hope they go somewhere like Newbury. Hannon is a creature of habit. He tends to target certain courses. If a horse doesn't go at Goodwood, he will go then probably to Newbury. He might take it to Newmarket. So if we see this horse rock up, he might even take this to Doncaster. I still think Classic is a horse with classic aspirations.
I was waiting for it. You didn't let me down. Well done.
Lobbed up a smash and I took it. So when there are reasons to forgive a horse for getting beat, then cut him a bit of slack, and I'm prepared to this. I think all this rumours of the homework about how exciting it is, they could still be true. And if he settles next time, if he doesn't get as agitated, and if it was Goodwood, it may well be that the horse is a buzzy type and he may do this again next time. Then I'll drop him. Yeah. But for next time, I'm going to give Classic another opportunity to show what a good horse he is. So he's my second eye catcher, the big hot favourite who didn't deliver. I'm going to give him another try.
I'm with. I watched that race as well, and he travelled like a dream, didn't he? He did. He just travelled too well. You get some, and everyone was slacking his jobs off, weren't they? Oh, he should have kicked up. And to be fair, the one done him on the out. He rode to beat all the ones in front of him, and he kind of did get done by one on the outside. I don't think I would have done anything different, because you're riding the race to beat what's in front of you. You don't expect to get nabbed on the end. And to be fair, he probably didn't quite pick up like he did because he travelled so well. He might want to step up and trip, mightn't he? He might want 7, for argument's sake. But I really like this horse, and I'm like you. I did actually. We talked about this his trial, his first run, didn't we? On a previous Judges' Duels. I like this horse, and like you probably, let's say it should be an even money shot next time. You'll probably get 2 to 1 because we got beat last time out. Did you spot the fourth in that race? Because I put that in my note. But Placento, the Johnson Horton horse, it's the only horse. Yeah. It was the only horse.
I think the whole rules will work out well
because of the colours. But this was the only horse that made ground up from the back of the field, and I do think that's one to keep an eye out for. So, you know, watch that race back, and I think they're the two horses going forwards that you want to be with. So
yeah, definitely.
And do you want to go for your next one as well, as you're in the mood?
Yeah, I'm always in the mood. Yeah, I sort of, the point behind this one is that, you know, Saturdays are so overloaded stupidly, in my view, and it's costing the game. But that's not the point of this. Is that people were quite rightly focusing on Goodwood. You already mentioned that there's Galway. Donny staged a meeting. We had Chester at the weekend as well. You know, even if you do this professionally, you can't keep an eye on everything. You've got to then go back and, you know, spend your Saturday and Sunday catching up, because, you know, here's the deal: if you do this professionally, nobody else is going to do it for you, so you've got to do it. Now, you know, people watching this who may not have the time and don't, you know, our job is to like tell them what happened, maybe, if things now at Newmarket in the first, there was a John Gosden horse. Well, actually, let me like frame the race. There was two big words on the morning: the Michael Stout horse Prepense, who was second, who missed the break, and is probably one to keep an eye on. There was a Godolphin type that's supposed to be useful called Art of Magic, and the favourite was a horse that had run well on debut called Looking Brew of Rafe Beckett's, who went off a very well back 6-4. I think this was a very, very solid race. Only a class 4, but I wouldn't really bother about that. The big yards were here and the big owners were here. And the race was won by a Gosden filly called Commissioning, ridden by Frankie Dettori. Remember the bloke who was sacked and then was re-employed the next morning?
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, he took the horse very wide. His new policy, Frankie, I don't know when he had his last holiday, but I think he sort of went to a hypnotist who told him, you must race wide in every like race when you come back. He was doing it at Goodwood, wasn't he? Well, he's gone to Newmarket and he's gone very, very wide on this. Took it up over 1 out, but it was what happened then in the final furlong. If you get a chance to go and have a look at this race, people, I would. Well, I mean, the race watchers, you know, when you see these horses, these remarks could be from the Racing Post, race form, time form, or whatever thing you watch or use. When you see the words impressive, quickened impressively, taking performance, you know the guy that they sent there has gone like, wow.
Yeah.
The way this thing galloped in the final furlong, and Frankie was far from hard on it, let's be clear, was as taking as I've seen a filly this year. I would say that. I thought this race, possibly Rafe Beckett thought that Looking Brew may have slightly underperformed, possibly. Prepense did well, but was going well enough 1 out and staying on, but Commissioning just as absolutely shot clear. And to say that this has got so much more to give, I think this is a very exciting filly. So Commissioning, and the point is, of course, will have been missed by so many people because there's just so much racing.
Hands up! I've only studied it. I've only looked back at all the Goodwood stuff. I have got the aways to do, so I will definitely watch that. So I can't give any more substance to that. I'm ashamed to say, but the way you've set it up, I've just had a look. I mean, obviously, Lucky Brew's a table horse with Brave Beckett after a good run on its previous start, and that's got beat 7 lengths. So if that has actually run even to any part of its form, it's certainly a 90+ run in terms of an handicap mark on debut, isn't it? You know, if you're looking at RPRs and that's obviously a good start. So she could be good, mate. You'd think if she's that good, she'd be running in a listed or a. Because he doesn't like messing about, Gosden, does he? He likes to put them into a group race or whatever if they're good on debut, and that he won't sort of mess about with them.
I think it's York or Doncaster for her next. I'll be very surprised if she doesn't.
Definitely keeping an eye on her, mate. I like that. Well done, good spot, mate. Well, I always go a little bit left field, but it's perhaps not quite so left field for one. I'm going for horse that ran on Saturday. So I've done a bit of Saturday action in I think it might have even been the last race, which may be very sad. The 4:30 on Saturday, anyway. The horse is called Gren, trained by George Baker. He actually went in my track on his previous run at Windsor on a real nice hand ride. This horse about 2 years. He used to train it, George. he used to train a horse round about in 2020, and this horse comes fourth in the Balmoral handicap of, where are we, of 104 in soft ground over a mile. You know, that race at the end of the season on Champions Day there. So we're talking about a bit of back class here. He then got obviously sold quite for a lot of money, I'm guessing, and then went over to Owen O'Neill, running France, been running in France. And then George picked this horse up for literally, I think it was 5,000. I can't remember what I looked at. But no, he's bought it back. Look, last of 11 after a long break. And then it was 68-day break. And if you watch the Windsor race back, that was a nice run. It just, you know, education to get himself back. And I thought it absolutely hated Goodwood on Saturday, but it's got beat 5 lengths by a Gero off a mark of 80. So that, bearing in mind, that's 20 odd pounds lower than it's. Look, it's obviously not quite as good as it was, but the point is, this horse is getting well handicapped now. He'll definitely be running 0 to 80s. Get a little bit of juice in the ground and a slight drop-in trip to a mile. This horse wants a mile on softer ground. I think this horse is well handicapped, and it's the Agero race will definitely throw up winners, because the second and third, Kitsune, Power and Bolt both ran well in not the Sandrian, in the Britannia. And Dutch Decoy, who came fourth, because that was the other one that came from the back of the field. Dutch Decoy and Grem were the two that come from the back of the field. Both had high draws as well, which would have been slight negative, having a high draw on the Friday and the Saturday. Both come from the back of the field. Dutch Decoy won on his previous start too. I think that's good form. So it's definitely one from left field. So put Gren in your tracker.
Agero must be some horse to be involved with.
Oh, I love these. I love these, you know, hurdlers, then stroke chasers. And then, I mean, you've got to say that was a really good piece of handicap. He managed to run him in the right races, getting just at the bottom. He actually got in at Ascot, I think, off bottom weight. And then, of course, Agero bumped into another good thing that day, didn't he? He bumped into Candleford, didn't he? Who was just like about a stone in front of his mark. And then obviously they thought, well, we're going to. I mean, you look at the horses that beat Agero. I mean, it's got beat by Francesco Clementi. That's a group horse. Nathaniel Green, who won a really big handicap at Haydock. Candleford. I mean, he's entitled to have one day in the sun, isn't it? So. Yeah, I don't think it's stopped winning, actually, so I think I can win another race at Gero, but obviously that's not left field. So we're trying to find one that's down the field.
We're trying to find little sneaky angles, yeah. But yeah, that was a good race, yeah. So look out for that George Baker one.
Yeah, I think that's so I've got to cover my three horses were Summergand, Yukon Glen and Gren, and yours were?
Commissioning. Look out for that, wherever that goes, you want to be back in that. Very exciting filly. I had the Ed Walker horse, Great Ambassador.
Great Ambassador, that was it.
I'd like to see that possibly at Doncaster. And Classic. I'm not giving up on Classic, who did get beat. So
I think there's some definite. Well, I don't think I'd be pretty disappointed. There's not some winners or as big prize places coming out of those 6 selections.
Yeah, I hope so.
Another week done, mate. So it's been a pleasure as always. What are you up to this week? Any
busy. Yeah. Trying to get this.
It's a bit quiet. So we can breathe a bit more, can't you?
Yeah. Our horse is entered hopefully next Monday at Wolver. So I'm just going to sort out somebody to ride it today. Then Windsor tonight, and then we'll take it from there. See where we go, all the way up to the Shergar Cup on Saturday.
Okay, mate. Well, I shall definitely be looking at the Shergar Cup, but it's not a meeting that I ever really get that excited about, if I'm honest. But
all good fun, yeah. Good fun.
That's exactly what it is. It should be. You can't really take it as like after we've had Goodwood, it's not quite the same. But anyway, been a pleasure as always, mate. Have a good week and be lucky.
Yeah, and you guys, everybody have a great week. Bye-bye.